What made you lose respect for someone? My old CEO was awesome and really inspirational. I really respected his social, leadership and business skills. Then he took a job at Facebook and is now spreading their bullshit and is a total shill for them. How humans can treat a complete stranger. It's not hard to be nice to others, you just need to think about someone other than yourself. Kicked me from group chats and weren't my friend anymore after I told them I was a trans man. He said cause I hate lesbians. Double fucking disgusting mistake here. How people have treated me when I needed help the most. A person that's just nice to you when you feel okay, but takes advantage of you and tries to break you down even more when they know they have power over you, can't ever redeem themselves in my eyes. My dad. He's done a lot of shit that I've forgiven him for, cheating on my mom, lying to me on several occasions, etc., but what caused me to lose respect for him and not speak to him was a phone call. I called him to let him know I got a high-paying job and we had a decent conversation. Then he brought up Greece's problems and that if real Greeks were in charge, Greece would be great. I asked him what he meant by that. He said Jews are really running Greece and they need to be removed. I reminded him that 84% of Greeks Jews were murdered and he didn't even bother to say that was bad. Anyway, I tried to change topics but he didn't. Then he continued and laughed when I told him I was hanging up and kept trying. So I haven't talked to him since August. The moment they lose respect for me, is when what goes around comes around. When my teacher told me I exaggerated the description of depression in my essay when it wasn't even close to what I go through on a daily basis. Also every single time my best friends do or say some fucked up shit behind my back and I have to find out somehow. Or my parents and grandparents, the whole family actually, claiming to be so supportive of everyone and everything while constantly being that passive kind of homophobic and transphobic. When they talk horrible to their loving caring parents. Years ago I had a co-worker that wanted to marry a rich guy. So she would attend all the debutante balls. But she couldn't afford to buy new formal dresses for every ball, you couldn't show up to next week's ball with last week's dress. She would buy a dress Friday afternoon, go to the ball Friday night, and return the dress Saturday morning. When I told her that was as good as stealing, she just got angry with me. When my only friend backstabbed me and prior to that he gaslighted me for years. When they know that I'm not a message person and they keep saying you don't WhatsApp me. But I call and ask to hang out. A mate of mine from school asked me to design him a brand for a photography business, naturally I said yes, gave him a price and did the work. Coming to the end of designing the piece he says he isn't gonna pay me but is gonna take the brand anyway. Obviously I told him to go do one cause that's not how the real world works. After that I got a bunch of messages from people who were his mates and some I used to go school with asking why I didn't give him the design. Even though I said I didn't work for free cause that's not how real life is, they said I was selfish. 2.5 years on and he asks me to make a watermark for his photos. Again I mention that money will be involved and instead of saying no or anything else, he ignores the message and gets a friend to make him one. Turns out the one he was using was actually a stock image. Instead of supporting a friend and small business he went ahead and bought a stock image for his photos. I'll never understand. A friend I've had for a few years now, we were tight but he had a lot of issues with anger management and handling his insecurities, so we would fight a fair amount. We always made up although he'd never apologize, it'd always be okay. Then he falls out with his big friendship group, huge fallout and he's going some dark places with it. I'm there supporting him and trying to help him out, staying up all night sometimes to keep him distracted. He manages to get through and we carry on. A while later I have a problem dealing with the stress of balancing my job, family and studies and I turn to him for support, and he tells me to get professional help. Straight up told me I was crazy for having a normal reaction to being overwhelmed. I was shocked, and in my vulnerable state I believed him for a while before I realized he'd been gaslighting me pretty much the whole friendship, making everything my fault even though they were all his issues. Obviously I don't expect every friendship to be an even trade, people have different stress tolerances and can't always offer as much support as they receive, but this was pretty much a 100-0 exchange and TBH it still stings. Yeah, I lost a lot of respect for that guy. Practically anyone who is not genuinely happy with someone else's good fortunes. A cop just killed a 52-year-old female civilian in my country for no reason. When he twittered about BTC, they spoiled the ending of Demon Slayer. I doubt anyone will get to this comment, but it makes me feel better just to write about it. Two things spring to mind. In high school, my best friend's mother was having an affair and she confided to my friend, her daughter. Not only that, but she told my friend in detail, exactly how much better at everything she felt her lover was over her own father. She also used her daughter act as a go-between for the passing of messages between two of them and expected her to lie and cover for her whilst she was away on her trysts. My friend still has trust issues to this day. Second thing, I lived in a foreign country in my early 20s. A group of us friends all moved there together and we apartment shared. We were all pretty broke, but one friend decided to stop buying anything for himself and just stole what he needed from the rest of us. I mean anything. Food, drink, personal hygiene products. Took us a while to figure out where all our stuff was going. This was the same guy that ran up an enormous bill under one of the other housemates' names, then moved out and disappeared. Took the victim about 10 years to get over the bad credit. I'm still in touch with that basic group of people and most have made their peace with this piece of shit. I haven't been able to bring myself to do it. After what I thought was a good friendship, after knowing each other for 10 years, my friend decided he doesn't want to know me anymore and he doesn't even want to talk about it. Literally no communication whatsoever. Felt like shit ever since. Just a sudden go fuck yourself and he doesn't even want to tell me what did I do wrong. A friend told me they were the type that liked to have open and honest communication about their friendships. I explained right off the bat that I tend to get clingy and not realize it. I have attachment issues that I'm working on with a therapist, and if it became a problem I might need them to tell me. They said that was cool, no problem. I got clingy and they blocked me. Then unblocked me when they thought Succubus had learned their lesson. Screenshot of that provided to me by a mutual friend. 2 weeks later, they blocked me again cause I got clingy, again. Not once did they talk to me about it. Lost all respect for them. Can't claim to be open to communication and refuse to communicate. It's lying with extra steps. Years ago, my friends and I went to a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert. One of my friends asked if I could buy his ticket and let him pay me back, because he didn't have the money. I did so and we all had a great time. A couple of months later I asked for the money and he said I can't afford it this week, I have too many bills. Meanwhile, he had purchased a new TV, surround sound system and PS3. We haven't spoken in over a decade. When someone lied while I was in the army, could have gotten some hurt. She made all of her classmates turn against my friend while this said friend was sick at home. Friend comes back to school, and no one in her class speaks to her, without her knowing why. She came running to us, we were on different class, crying, begging for someone to be her friend. We find out what this one person had done and said. She was one of those people, who had the need to destroy another person in order to get noticed. Sadly, this time she succeeded. There isn't a lot of people in the world I actually hate. For now I can count them with one hand. This a-hole just happens to be my number one hated person. Immigrant couple came over from home, helped them out as best we could. Took them with us when grocery shopping, going to events, pre-pandemic, took them to the hospital for checkups, even took them to and fetched them from the airport when they'd go home. Introduced them to friends, gave advice, etc. when they had a falling out with another group, who we, my family, were also friends with. They expected us to fall out with this group too. I made it clear that their issues with each other were none of my business, so there's no reason for me to shut out the other group. They then decided to shut us out as well. No Christmas or New Year greetings, no birthday greetings, no nothing, when they used to visit at least every 2 weeks and we'd have a meal at my house at my expense. We even did shopping for them and just leave it at their doorstep when they were ill during the pandemic. So that's how it's going to be, eh? Good riddance.